That is the boss. That's the boss that's coming out, and I appreciate it. And then the thing is, no, I was just like, okay, you know what? I mean, because it's a 30-minute show, right, Richard? So the
Yeah.
structure, there is no structure. Okay, like it's a messy, messy fucking show. There's no structure. The only structure that we have is that the listeners like the time. Okay.
Don't hold back how you feel. Welcome to the platform for the misunderstood and creatives alike. So roll a joint and pour a shot. You're listening to the Dash It Out podcast, the show that brings your after hours talk to daytime. No wrong opinions and all unfiltered. With your host, Vic Dash Tour.
Welcome to another episode of the Dash It Out Show, everyone. I'm your host, Vic Dash Tour, and today our co-host, Mr. Richard Blank, is going to share his amazing story as he took a life gamble at the age of 27, where he moved from Philadelphia to Costa Rica on a vision quest journey and inadvertently started a company from scratch. Interesting, definitely interesting. Now Chief Executive Officer for Costa Rica's call center, he's here to share advanced telemarketing, strategy, conflict management, interpersonal soft skills, customer support, rhetoric, gamification, pinball machines, employee motivation, phonetic microexpression readings, which I really want to dig into that later, and overall pros and cons of artificial intelligence. So let's go ahead and give a round of applause to my amazing co-host, everyone, Richard Blank.
Victor, what's happening, buddy? I'm so happy to be with you and your audience today. I got a ton of things to share.
Definitely. I mean, that bio alone was a lot. I was like, okay, he's definitely diverse. You diverse. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So what was your motivation at the time at the age of 27 to start your own business? Or was there like no plan? It was just, let's go ahead and figure something out as we go? Or was there a game plan?
Well, I was pretty much building up on momentum. You just don't get to be 27 and make big lifelong decisions. You needed to have a plan. And so let's go way back. When I was in high school, my favorite class was Spanish. When I graduated the proud Abington High School in Northeast Philly, I decided to double down on my favorite class and was a major, Spanish major, at the University of Arizona. Better weather and a great language program. And then at 27, yes, I was post-grad. I worked for Telemundo, the importers of Corona. So I got a few rounds in there. I got to see how good my Spanish would take me. But a really solid friend had a call center here. I knew I needed a break and asked if I wanted to come down for just a couple months and teach English. I tell you what, if you can get past your parents' guilt, if you can really rely on your skills and your foundation, you should take certain chances in life. Little did I know it was going to turn out like this. But I tell you, sometimes you get new ideas and fresh things for your eyes to see. And you realize that how you grew up and the influences you had and certain directions you were supposed to go might not be a good fit. So, Victor, I decided to be a little selfish and stay and to build a life here.
And the thing is, that's not really, I wouldn't say selfish. I do love that strong choice of word, though. Strong choice of word. But I can definitely relate. Now, I didn't make a drastic power move and go to Costa Rica. But, I'm originally from Washington, D.C. And at the age of 26, pushing 27, I moved to New York City where I went to go to school to major in communications, which I also know you're a communication major as well. Hey, woo-woo.
Sure.
I went to New York to major in communications. I've never been to college in my life. And I was like, you know what? I need a change. I just need to leave my foundation. I need to start something different. And in that moment of doing that, it was in a way you find yourself and you kind of go off your past experiences and you also create new ones and kind of develop a very strong sense of self to the point where
How
I'm
did you sell your parents on
great.
that, though?
How did I sell it?
Victor, how did you sell your parents on that? How did you convince your friends and your family to move far away and to not follow in what's the expectations were for you? I don't know what your parents wanted you to study or where to go, but I'm sure they had a certain plan for you that you had to break free of. Am I correct on that?
In a way, not entirely, just for the mere fact the plan and mission was for me to go to school. Okay. I think
Okay.
them knowing that motivation of me wanting to go to school to better myself, to further my career, to further just my overall self. I think they knew that, and they knew that it was time. They knew that I was the type of individual who would not sit there and procrastinate. And I felt like I was procrastinating, so I feel stagnated. So getting up and moving at the age of 27, in your case, I can completely relate. I mean, I'm 28 now, but still I can relate, 26, 27, like moving and trying to and better yourself. And I think I've done pretty well so far since being in New York City. Have a nice Manhattan apartment, got a nice marketing job, started my own business. Back to the Dash It Out Show podcast. So I think I'm doing perfectly fine for the year and a half of me being here. And the journey is constantly moving forward. It's constantly moving forward. You know, how did your parents feel with your whole move and family and friends? Did they feel neglected? Did they feel as though uh, you would somehow come back to Philly?
Between me and you and your amazing audience, they were very disappointed. I was supposed to go into
Oh,
family's business. Victor, I was supposed to study
oh,
law and finance, but
oh.
I made my argument. I said, listen, guys, great grandpa came from Eastern Europe at the turn of the 20th. He didn't speak English. He learned English,
Hmm,
lived in New York. We were from Brooklyn in Westchester, and we made our money during the Depression. So, I mean, what do
hmm.
you want me to say? These guys
Right.
took big gambles and they're around my age. And so we're nomads. You're supposed to leave a castle and slay a dragon. So I'm very proud of you, Victor. But my thing was a little bit different. I had a lot of pressure and some
Oh,
serious
got you.
expectations. And so I needed
Wow.
to, you know what the argument was too? It's the communication major was fun in Arizona because they kind of considered it not a blow off major, but not as difficult as other subjects. But you and I both know if you can get past public speaking, learn
Hmm.
interpersonal communication, conflict management, really study that rhetoric and the semantics for diplomatic and strategic vocabulary. I mean, we can only get by on our charm and good looks. We really need to pack a punch. But it was the dedicated practice, man. The fact that I was really studying hard that Spanish. And you can't learn it on 5 hours a week in the classroom. I had to live it. And so, how do you
Right.
put a spark out of a kid that reads the book, watches the movie, sits and talks for half an hour drinking coffee? And so, I asked them, I almost pleaded with them not to take away that spark. And so, when I used the word selfish, it was really about making my own decisions for a happy life compared to
Hmm.
fulfilling the needs and desires of somebody else for their happiness. And I don't think that's very fair. As long as there's somebody out there doing something that isn't offending others, but contributing. And to answer your question, man, you've been there a year and a half. Do you know how I can tell? There's a spring in your step. You're happy.
Oh, yeah.
You are secure with your self confidence to have made that move. You're adjusting accordingly, and I can tell, and I think your audience can too. Yeah, you've taken your licks, but again, this is New York. This is Division One, and you went to the
Exactly.
center of it all. And you're playing with the big boys, and you're not supposed to be living large. You're supposed to be making those sacrifices to see your sort of endurance and depth. And can you take a
Yeah.
hit? And I give
Yeah.
respect to Washington, D.C. You guys are tough cats, not like
Yeah.
Philadelphia, but you're tough cats, and
Uh,
but good for you. You
Thank
build your
you.
strength from this and you meet your friends. And so, do we have things in common? There's so many things we overlap, but I chose something to the extreme. I really wanted an exotic life. I
Mm,
wanted to be not the different kid in town, but I wanted to really test my senses when I'm not at a home court advantage. And
right.
little did I know that just by being naturally kind and putting out some sort of beautiful energy that's non offensive, I've
Right.
had people gravitate towards me, work with me, support me, believe in me. And my man, that's what life is all about when you can make that connection, when there's a comfortable silence with somebody. That's when you know you've landed it.
Yeah. And I feel already feel kind of, you have like a nice monotone speaking voice. It's like real soothing, real relaxing, real comforting. And yeah, definitely. I can feel your vibe. I can feel your vibe. through the camera here.
Supposed to do this for a living. I should be good. You know?
Yeah. So what is the
Yeah.
Costa Rica call center? Like, what do you do at the Costa Rica call center?
No, I sold my soul for a golden fiddle. I tell you what, there are prices that you pay. Costa Rica's call center, we're a nearshore, bilingual, dedicated call center that deals with sales, appointment setting, lead generation, customer support, back office support, and non-voice support. Costa Rica, north of Panama, south of Nicaragua, we're the only democratic society in Central America. There's no standing army, Victor, so they put all that money back into education. There's a 95% literacy rate, and check this out, you know, Latino accents. They claim that this is the most neutral English accent. Kind of like if you meet someone from Iowa, they have no accent.
Right.
And so from the Midwest. And we have companies such as Amazon, HP, Intel, Oracle, great infrastructure. We're known for ecotourism. So why did I choose this? Yeah, because it's safe. It's close to home, a mountain time zone. I'm a couple hours away on a direct flight. Tons of expats are here. It's like mini America. The only problem is it's more expensive in Central America, but it's still a fraction of the cost of the United States. And I guess the stars were aligned. It was at the right place at the right time for the right guy like me. You know, in the United
that's the
States,
recipe for success. But that's the recipe for success, Richard. You know,
a little bit of Philly guilt, calling the balls and the strikes, the fact that we know advanced English as communication majors and speakers. So you're dealing with English second language. So I can literally take you from an 8 to a 10 and balance your bike. And they look at me like I'm a wizard. All I'm doing is increasing your vocabulary and assisting in your grammar and giving you a smile. And so I found a certain match made in heaven where we just put the icing on the cake and a little bit of the design. With the pinball machines and Pac-Man and air hockey table, I found a happy medium. So people can let off steam and chill out and have a little bit of a recess and smoke less cigarettes. And it's just a thought. But you know, just
pinball machines.
What do you do, Victor? Yeah.
I mean, so quick question. So let's get back to the pinball machines. The pinball machines and all the gamification that you have going on. Is that in the call center? Like, is it like in the call center, or is it like a separate room that's in the call center? Like, how did that work?
Well, I got the space. So downstairs we have the pinball machines, the fighting machines. I got an Alpine Racer 2 ski machine, which is ironic for Costa Rica, and a Dynamo air hockey table, painted the Flyers colors. But no,
Sweet.
right here, she's real. This is a 1961 Ricola Regis. I got 6 jukeboxes.
Nice.
Listen, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Arcades are going out of business. And so when I see on the local markets down here, I'll get my buddy Joey and Billy. We'll jump in the car and we'll drive 5 hours to some guy's bodega to buy a couple of pinball machines. You got to be kidding me. And drive back like champions. It's amazing.
Right. You seem like a wicked cool ass boss to have like a whole gaming room to be like, look, you know what? Go ahead and hang the phone up. Or after the phone call, be like, boss, they really throw me under the bus. They have a lot going on. I don't think I can handle this right now. And you're just like, just go play some pinball. Go play some pinball. Listen to some music on the jukebox, and come back when you're ready. Like, I don't know. It seemed dope. It seemed like a great way to spend like a 15-30 minute break and all that good stuff. Assuming that everyone gets breaks.
Okay, you ever see the spiral?
The spiral?
People lose their mind and they quit and they say the wrong things at the wrong time. And they just have a bad moment.
Yes.
By giving them that, and that's why you have a great podcast. When you're at a code red, you do not just do the coffee, cookies, let's take a walk. These kids need to do something before they quit or curse out somebody or throw a phone down and cause a scene. And so besides being a collector, yes, it is letting them know that this is this environment here for them to do this. But here's the best part. Here's the secret. When I'm playing the games in the morning, most people don't say hello to their bosses to begin with, but they do to me. Not only that, I get the, what's up, Hefe? I get the tap on the shoulder. Hey, you can touch me. That's all right. And it shows just the comfort level. These are positive reinforcements. And so if it takes, and also when my clients come down, I call them out on it. I go, hey, how come you don't have this at headquarters? Look how I treat them. Look how I treat myself. Come on, guys. You got to step up your game. And so there's a lot of benefit that comes from it.
So in a way, if you like providing these games to help de-stress your employees, in a sense, it kind of open up, a stronger dialogue between you and your employees. It kind of open up, honestly, I would say loyal, dedicated employees, honestly, because like you said, not everyone to see their boss in the morning when they say, hi, how you doing? Let alone, dap them up, or it's like, hey, yeah, clocking there. And like, go about your business. So that's pretty cool because not
Name
only
me
is it a
5 things you
work
compete with
environment,
your boss in. Unless they bring you to the golf course or there's a bowling party, you have a pool table. What are you going to
yeah,
compete with your
but
boss at?
nah,
Literally. I mean, what can you
yeah.
do that's fun and you're not going to get in trouble?
Yeah. See, that would be fun though. I mean, that would be fun. That would definitely be fun. And at the same time, like I said, they will be motivated to work. They'll be motivated to want to be
Yo,
loyal.
Victor, it's a
They feel
filter
less
process,
stressed.
man.
Yes, and it helps
If
them to
you can't
focus
hang
on
out
different
and play
stressors.
pinball with me, yeah, well, also, you got to think about the people that come into the call center. If people don't like a game room and they can't hang
Yeah.
out, it's not like I'm not going to hire you.
Right.
But yes, you're correct in regards to relationship building, foundation, attrition rates. If you can laugh with someone, play with that individual. There's a different level. It's like when you bring a puppy into the office, the big tough guy in the corner starts talking, puppy talk and sits on the ground and
Right.
lets the dog lick its face. So how many different ways, and you study this in communication, you have a controlled environment and then there's focus
Mhm.
groups. You need to put in consistent or inconsistent variables just to see what happens over a period of time.
Yeah.
I have seen that there's preventative measures before the cure because I don't
Okay.
like to run around with my head chopped off. When they're interviewing, they see the games, obviously, as an observer. You see how they react to
Hmm.
them. Do they respect the old machines? Do they want to play? That's a nice side of you because you're being so stiff and fake
Right.
with well-rehearsed answers in your interview. How about this one, man? You ask them to turn the paper over and write you a coming-of-age story when they beat up a bully or saved a kitten. Why? Can Victor zig and zag? Literally, if I'm signing a contract with you, if I ask you a question about Washington, D.C. or New York or just chilling, can you actually give me a real answer? Or does it have to be something on page 5 of your notes? And these are excellent tell signs to see if I'm capable of coaching someone, if they're being authentic, and do
Hmm.
they have the vigor? And so these are the sort of things that Richard looks for compared to the HR department when they go through their qualification process.
That's interesting. Another thing when you have like a strong sense of self, it's like, you stand in your truth, right? You stand in your truth, right? So in this case, it's like if you need to, it's calling me during my interview.
Well, obviously, your audience, they have a question for me.
Yeah. So, anyways, having a
Yeah.
strong sense of self is standing in your truth and your light and not running away from your problems. And I really feel as though, in my case, like you said, I kind of like do myself out there. So I kind of
Mhm.
know me and I know what I'm able to do. Now, I didn't have many challenges as far as the structured life that was pretty much set up for me. Like I had to really get it out the mud, unlike others who pretty much have it all given to them. But inadvertently, it's not enough. It's never enough. So others actually work for it. So I pride myself in that strong work ethic. And certain work ethics take certain tools, certain dedications to really, hone your craft. Because last I checked, even a king was a prince and had to learn before he was able to rule the throne. So I would never knock
That's right.
anyone for doing what they need to do to improve themselves, even if it is reading a script. Because last I checked, isn't that what you do in a call center? You read a script. Or do
On
you
the
not tell
average
your
call
employees to read
center.
a script?
Of course I do, but I have them read it with conviction. I them pause before names and numbers, emphasize personal pronouns to get their attention, name drop at least 6 times, do positive escalations,
So is
compliment
that the
Kathy before I
phonetic?
get transferred.
But is that
It's
the
an art of
phonetic micro
speech.
expressions though? Is that the phonetic micro
Well, yeah.
expressions?
Let me show you the chart on that one. The phonetic micro expression reading, the tell
Okay.
signs. Let me see. Can you guys see that?
Can we hold it up just a little bit more? There we go. Seeing a little
Phonetic
something.
microexpression reading.
Okay.
Do you remember in 8th grade when you took pre-algebra and you had the XY chart? Well, think of
Yep.
phonetics being broken down into 4 segments: tone, rate, pitch, and duration. Your tone represents your emotion. In my opinion, you should be confident and empathetic. That's the consistent variable. You mirror image the individual's rate of speech and their speaking level. Why? Well, that's just how they speak. And then you can pay attention every 30 seconds to 2 minutes if they have a spike or a dip, if they're louder, softer, and things like that. That's when we usually ask tie down or qualification, clarification questions. Checkpoints. And so you can also get the positive or negative reinforcement from them. You can see if their tone changes a little bit, their answering speed changes. These are just the little adjustments that to the trained eye gives you hints on if you're getting closer or far away and if you're moving. But I tell you what, it's very easy not to manipulate in regards to lying. But there is certain conversation flow and structure. And so for me, let's just say it's the first 30 seconds of a phone call and I'm prospecting a business. If I called your company, the first thing I would say is, hey, Dash It Out Show, how you doing today? That's the first thing I would say. I'm not, hi, this is Richard, or may I speak to Victor, or good morning. No way. I'm giving you an anonymous company name spike or name spike. I'm using my anonymity. Now for the whole call, that's shady. But in the beginning, I got to break down that trance and that ego defense and that immediate, we're good, no thank you, what are you selling? Not today, click. What am I doing? Victor, my man, I am buying time. Buying time? Yeah, you don't get a 10-minute phone call. You get 20, 30-second calls. Just got to put them together. You got to go through your checkpoints like Indiana Jones. Come on. Just don't get the gold. There's 1,000 things you got to go through. It's a labyrinth.
Yeah.
It's a maze. And so I start off strong. I start off with what you know. And if you happen to have your assistant, Betty, say, hey, Dash It Out Show, this is Betty. Hey, Dash It Out Show. How you doing today, Betty? Of course, she's going to go from a 10 to a 6 in regards to defense. And then she will say, I'm doing great. Who is this? And this is your second question, which was my famous buffer boomerang technique. Very easy technique that your audience can use. You buffer. Hey, Debbie, that's an excellent question. My name is Richard Blank. That's right. I'm going to name drop you to buffer that negative tone. I'm going to let you know it's a great question. Glad you brought it up. So glad we're talking about it. I'm going to repeat the question so you don't have to do it. And you shows active listening. Right. And then I'm going to send it back to you in a positive. Okay, well, Richard Blank, what is the name of your company? Betty, I knew you were going to ask that question. The name of my company is Costa Rica's Call Center. It's going in. It connects you and goes through you. Don't take it. You half moon.
I mean,
that's
so
the
it's
motion.
really just, but it's really just Costa Rica Call Center, though. It seems, no disrespect, it seems a little unoriginal.
Well, the name?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the thought process behind Costa Rica Call Center?
Yeah, but for I only did it for SEO. If I wanted to make it fancy, I called it XYZ29 or something. Are
you planning on selling the company?
One day, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely can see that.
Got a lot of people asking too.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. Yeah, keeping the Costa Rica Call Center because you plan on selling it.
But you want to know funny about the name? It's the apostrophe. Costa Rica's Call Center. It's great. That's why we're number 1 on Google in these searches. And so, as I mentioned before, it's like that. But that's just one of the multiple examples of what we try to do in regards to our structure here for our clients, in regards to inbound support. We're very attentive towards upselling, referrals, retaining the client, maybe getting an exit interview on if something went wrong and we lost a client. And so there's dispositions that we give our clients. They get the copies of the recordings so we can QA them, quality control, and analyze the KPIs, the key performance indicators. And
quick question.
Just certain things just to get through.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
You are?
Happily.
Nice. Happily? How long?
To a Costa Rican princess. Yeah.
You said to a Costa Rica princess?
A princess, yeah. I met a local girl down here. And so I decided to stay. It was pretty much for her. I fell in love. I didn't want to go home and leave her.
Okay, you know how that happens. You fall in love, you stay. That's nice, though. Beautiful. How long have y'all been married?
Been together 24 years. In fact, she's the business partner. She's the boss.
Oh,
You
she's
know,
the
I
lady
might be the
boss.
owner, but
Got
she's the
you.
boss. And most couples can't work together, but it's beautiful because she's the director of human resources, our legal representative with the government. And
Hmm.
just pretty much, I needed that home court player to assist me because
Okay.
I couldn't do this all on my own. So I needed accountants, attorneys, and chief technical officers, individuals that had those degrees, knew what to do down here to then join my team.
That's great. That's great. So, quick question. Let's kind of go back to that phonetic reading, okay? In your
Yeah.
instance, because I personally feel as though you was calling me out, do you feel as though that this is an authentic interview? Or do you feel as though it's
No, I think it's extremely authentic, but there needs to be structure. I mean,
okay?
obviously, there were certain questions that have interested you and you wanted
Yeah.
to ask, but then again, we're going all over the place, which is very nice. You make your guests feel very comfortable. In regards to calling you out, I call everybody out, but in a good way. I usually tell
As you
someone
should.
that they're either out of character or that they're better than that. But then if they're doing something great, I'm the first person to congratulate you. That's why I'm on your show. I like what you
Ladies
do,
and
Victor.
gentlemen, that is the boss. That's the boss that's coming out, and I appreciate it. And then the thing is, no, I was just like, okay, you know what? I mean, because it's a 30-minute show, right, Richard? So the
Yeah.
structure, there is no structure. Okay. Like, it's a messy, messy fucking show. There's no structure. The only structure that we have is that the listeners like the time. Okay. Keeping up with listeners'
Yeah.
attention spans nowadays, 30 minutes or less, 40 minutes at the most. But in most cases, it it happens when it happens, but when it comes together, it's messy amazing. Okay. It's a
It's
messy
raw.
amazing.
That's what it
It's
is. It's
far, it's
raw.
weird.
And you get
It's weird
there's
and
no
quirky,
bad habits or cancers. It just comes out
you know.
perfect every time.
Yeah, I mean, like far as the questions, I have personal questions that I would like to know, but for the most part, I would
Yeah.
like for you to just go ahead and like show yourself, your personality, and speak your spiel. The questions and everything is pretty much just to open up and talk and vibe and see how everything's moving. But for the most part, the description will link in detail, everything verbatim as far as what's going on, what's been said, who you are, what your business, what it is that you do, quick references, links, and all that good jazz. So the interview, in
Yeah.
a sense, is just a way to really get a deeper connection to the individual. In this case, Mr. Richard Blank. Now, is he just a boss? Is he a husband? Or is he a gamer? Like, who is Richard Blank? So in this case, I've gotten a lot to known about you. You real pose, you real pose. You gotta, I love it though. I love it. I love it. What's that? 40 regular jacket?
You're so funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
40
look at
regular, right?
this, and I go
Yeah,
old school. That's right. With the
I
cufflinks. But
love it.
thank you,
Hey,
man.
for
You
sure.
dress up, you feel good. It's a
You do
different
good.
stage of life. I hit the
Yeah,
gym every day, which is important. About 2 hours in the morning, I take my creatine and good protein,
as you
and I
should.
try to live a happy life. I can't meditate though. I'm not that kind of person that can sit still. So I like to wash my car on Sunday and do things like
Seriously,
that. But
I love
mhm.
meditation. I love going for jogs, hikes, meditating, and I don't know what it is for meditation, but I can really get into meditation. It's the stigma with meditation. Okay, everyone believes that meditation is you're supposed to clear your mind, right? And that's the
Yeah,
opposite. That's total bullshit. It helps you to put into focus what's going on in your mind. Okay, you can put things in
that's true.
focus what's going on in your mind if you're trying to get rid of it. Once you start to master the techniques of meditation, then you're able to really kind of like hone things out and get a perspective and kind of like see things for what they are. And like is you coming face to face with your demons and not run from them. You can actually sit there and be like, okay, you know what, I know that this is not good for me. I'm gonna do this. I can correlate this type of experience because this happened to me before in the past, so I'm not going to do that because this will lead to X, Y, and Z. It's just a way
Hmm.
to really it's like a mental notebook. And of course, working out builds endorphins. So I love working out too. I love running and jogging most importantly. I used to run track in school, so that's just me. But
Excellent. Yeah.
excellent day.
And when your mind, it's like the image streaming. After about 20
Hmm.
minutes of decompressed stimulation from the jogging, from the other exercise, as you say, your mind gets to wander and wander well. And you get to
Right.
prioritize and put things in perspective. But my main thing is, and I guess we all go through these forced marches, I try not to be hard on myself, Victor. There are things I might have
Hmm.
done when I was 10 years old that I wouldn't have done now. I would have cleaned the spill, and apologized
Yeah.
or done the right thing, but you were young then, or you didn't know then. And so if you can see it now and realize what you would have done, and
Hmm.
thankfully we do have mediums such as Facebook and other ways to communicate where you could reach out to someone and say, you were the best teacher, or, hey, I apologize for missing that one time. And it's a great way to relieve that weight so you can rise and not have a heavy heart, because
Yeah.
the worst thing is that weight. And
Mm.
I don't know. I just try to shave it as much as I can, little by little.
You can say you hard on yourself, but that's also the reason why you're successful with the game balls, the pinball, pinball machines, and the jukeboxes. In a way, in a sense, it's your reminder to yourself to let go as well. I'm not sure if you completely feel as strong to that, but I feel as though, in a way, it helps you to release as well and to remind yourself that there's a resemblance of a child there. Okay, reclaiming back your throne,
Of course.
your place, and
Yeah.
in a way, you're sharing that with others. It kind of remind me of like Michael Jackson. I know it's a huge thing with Michael Jackson with Neverland, and we all know that was bullshit. Okay, but that was MJ's. Like, okay, I create Neverland in a way to escape and to like reclaim my childhood, and in the process I'm sharing this with others. And yeah, I mean, you got to do what you do, buddy. Like, and I definitely feel as though you already onto something big. But you know what they say, usually in the craziest times is when your light shines the brightest. I know for my personal experience, that was definitely what got me through a lot. I'd never like to be a statistic, okay? I'm a black male in America, okay? I'm already a statistic. So I try to beat the odds by leveling up, And in doing so, it just reminded me that, okay, well, if I'm let's say I'm in a circumstance or in an area, in an environment in which the expectations and standards aren't met, which is for me are pretty fucking high, okay? If they're not
Mm.
met, ideally, I'm like, it's time to rise above that. I do the opposite. I see everybody moving left, I go right. I see people go right, I go left. And it came a time when I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and move with the crowd. Why? Because if I'm constantly running, they go this way, I go this way, they go that way, I go this way, they're not able to see what I have to offer, what I'm able to bring to the table. It's a form of leadership, right? So it's sometimes going with the crowd is great, but just not being taken in by it, like not being taken over by it in a sense. That's pretty much what I'm trying to make. But I mean, hey, look, you got to do you, buddy. Like, you definitely got to do you. I think you got it. Look, obviously, you're doing pretty fucking well. So,
But it loses its luster, the gold and the jewels. You want to find ways to pay it forward. How about this? It's very important to look at yourself in the mirror. That's essential. You got to have
yeah,
that respect. And also,
yeah,
I'm not trying to sound like your mother, but you got to make your bed in the morning. That's just something that's essential for me. That's another form of self-respect. It's completing a circle of waking up, fixing, coming home, and it's there. If you
yeah.
can do things like that, that's like the SAT. You already got 200 points. You're already starting. And
Hmm.
um, I needed first downs. Victor, I'm not long runners like Dion. I couldn't do 90 yards. I needed to grind it out yard by yard. I'm a grinder. The industry that
Got
I
you.
chose is a grind. And
Right.
there's a huge attrition rate, and there's a lot of competition. And so, as much as it's amusing of the suit and the pinball and stuff, that's great. But if Amazon pays you another $25, I'm going to lose 30 people. And so, what can I do to offset the big boys? And let's just talk candidly here. If I know your name, okay, playing the games, okay, maybe having a hot dog or pizza, breaking bread together, before you get on the phone, spending a couple hours to discuss soft skills with you so you see our wheelhouse and what we can do. And I can really show you to wield a sword and work with this and be maybe, flat out. That mentor you never had, the teacher, best friend, coach, parent, I'm not going to replace that, but I'm going to renew your faith in individuals, as you say, and I appreciate your compliments, and you've given me so many, that if you look at me a certain way and you see that I'm capable of doing something and I may be a positive example in a certain sense, then by all means, make yourself vulnerable. Let me work with you, and then I'll make you powerful. And that's just the way it goes. And so how do I get people with me for over a decade? Man, I got a foundation with them because I was there during their best times and support them during their worst times. And as I say, you believe in somebody. And I tell you what, some people, I know dollars are important, and we're not talking thousands. If it's an extra $50, someone might stay at the one place because Mr. Jones is giving him such advice, letting him sit on meetings, showing how to write business compositions, seeing how to ramp up campaigns, how to close, how to write scripts, compared to Billy that's just making you sit there and press a button. And it's great for the extra 50, but man, years go by and you realize you didn't get those skills. You sometimes need to sacrifice for the skill. And by default, or just loyalty and fidelity, you'll probably get promoted too. So that $50, now you're making $500 extra because you hung in there for a year, and everyone else either had the skills or didn't know what to do, and you started growing. And so you do it on merit, so you can live with yourself and people. And it's not me, Victor. It's the 35 other people in your account that need to respect you because they know you earned it. You just didn't kiss ass for it. I mean, if you're the guy that's doing 44 a day and everyone else is doing 12, my man, of course you're the apex. You're supposed to be the leader. And they all will agree with me on that. So collectively, as I say, it has to be that sort of environment. So you get that sort of respect.
Ladies and gentlemen, the public speaker, the motivator. Buddy, like you can sit here and talk to me all day. You was sitting here talking about mentor. You talk about I'm not trying to replace you. I'm just trying to help you. I'm like, you could talk to me all day. You understand? You dropping jewels. You dropping a lot of jewels. A lot of them.
That's right. So
yeah.
That's why I'm on your podcast. Dashing it out.
Dashing it out. I'm just like saying, just taking it all in. He got
but I'm proud of you. Being in New York City. And you're playing with the big boys. You're in the Division I. And I'm telling you, man, you would have already gone home if it wasn't working out. So it is working out.
Oh, hell no.
And I
Actually,
no.
I don't. No. I don't back down from a challenge, even when I was a baby and nearly died due to pneumonia. I fought to my very last breath to come back. I'm a fighter. My name is Victor for a reason, okay? Vic. I go by Vic, but my name is Victor. Winner. Victorious. No, let me not be pretentious. But no, honestly, I have a pet peeve of starting something and not completing it. It's just a perfectionist streak in me. I'm a Virgo as well. It's apparently like we perfectionists. So I can get really, really obsessed if I do not finish something. I told myself if I start something, the whole reason I made the pod move to New York was to prove to myself that I am capable of doing it. And I do not need a safety net. And the thing is, now, in your case, you had kind of had a structure built with your family, how they kind of want you to do things. In my case, I didn't really have much of a structure built, but there was always a safety net. And I did not want to feel comfortable with that damn fucking safety net, okay? So I went ahead and just took some shears and just cut it up and went by my way, because the last thing I want to do is feel stagnated. I mean, my father have a nice house on Capitol Hill. My mom, she doing her thing wherever she's at. But for the most part, my sisters that have their own businesses, they all doing their thing. I just did not feel as though I was moving progressively. I started to get really stagnated after the pandemic, which was the birth of the Dash It Out show. But I just needed more. I definitely needed more. That's about it. That's about it.
But when you study people's biographies, you realize they do have certain periods where they're resting in the corner in between rounds. You can't go
Yeah.
100% the whole time. Sprinters can't do that. Runners can't do that. You know, runners can't do that. I was just watching a bunch of stuff on FloJo the other day. FloJo. Oh my God, was she amazing. Can you believe what she ran that 100 in? That was the most incredible thing ever. They were claiming that there was wind behind her. They had everything behind her. She was incredible. And so what perfection? Especially, let's think about it like this. My main man, your favorite sport is running. You don't need equipment for that. It can be done anywhere, in any language, any culture. And that's the oldest sport because that's all we've been doing. And the fact that individuals have that commitment toward, see, that's what life should be. I don't need the suit, the title, the house, the cars, or anything. I want to be mentally the runner because I know butt naked, running down the street. If I'm running fast and feeling good, I'm feeling amazing. And I'm also healthy. And so I think if you can strip away and shed skin and go super raw and core like a boxer without breathing in your core, you're nothing. So you got to think about without spark plugs, without even lighters, there's no fire. And so all this other stuff is the result of, I'm always thinking of the genesis of the beginnings of, and your running is exactly where I'm talking about. And certain mindsets of me go back 5 ways before I need to get to where I need to be. So I got the core. And yeah, when you read these bios and you see the times they had to quit college and work because they couldn't afford it, but then they got their scholarships and then you realize that they run on their own. No, they had a certain coach. They had mentors.
Yeah.
They had individuals like Luke Olson at Arizona with all those amazing players back in the day. They give homage to these coaches. And so you'd be foolish to think you do it on your own and enjoy your accolades. But my goodness, there's 1,000 thank yous out there of all the Go Victor Goes and the people that supported me. So I love seeing those stories because my main man, when you were feeling blue, look at all the real friends that called you and told you that they loved you. And this is a time before you became rich and famous. These are the real friends.
Do you have mentors?
I'm cool with that, man.
Do you have mentors to this day that you kind of still talk to, or would you like to thank?
Oh, absolutely, I do. A lot of it has to do with Philadelphia, though. So it would be the late Principal Norman Schmidt that wrote me a recommendation letter. The last principal, Angela Barrios III, who's moved on to be the superintendent. Also, you had Charlie Orm out at the Orm School in Mayer, Arizona. That was a place that changed my life. It brought me out to Arizona. And just mentors are my friends that I sized myself up. Like when I was in college, my mentors were friends that knew how to iron and cook. I couldn't do that, but I learned how to. Have a mentor was a friend that had a clean apartment and bathroom. So he had self-respect. About the one that hit the gym every day. I mean, it doesn't have to be the old wise one with the long beard. These could be people that are even younger than you that you
Those
could
who sharpen
admire.
your iron. Exactly.
Yeah.
Those who sharpen your iron,
I respect anybody's groove and rhythm. I respect anybody that smiles and goes the distance and shows. I love things like that. And I tell you what, I try to compliment as many people as I can during the day. I will tell somebody at Subway they make the greatest sandwich and look at their name tag. Thanks, Maria. You know, I'm getting extra pickles. If I'm at a restaurant, I'm going to call the supervisor over and say, yo, Victor was the greatest waiter I ever had. Look what he did here, 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 and here. I love this guy. You don't think it makes their day? Or when a beautiful older woman comes out of a beauty salon and you know they feel great and you stop and go, Senor, que bonito su pelo. They're like, oh, thank you so much. And then they move on and you don't have to, but you know that their nails, their hair, they look beautiful that day. So you stop and you pay that compliment in a respectful way. And because me today, you tomorrow, Victor, me today, you tomorrow. And also another advice is Wu Wei. You want to live life with least resistance. Listen, there are times wind and water currents can help you along. You don't have to do anything, even gravity when you're riding a bike. So find those natural things in life that can add, as they say, FloJo with that wind behind her for that 10.35,
Right.
then find that wind behind you. Find it.
Nice. Okay.
And most people don't even know where to look for it. And so the ones that go into the cave get the gold. And I tell you what, man, you're talking about society moving left. There won't be any gold left. You got to go right to be the one God to find it and to make your way. I don't like sheep. I don't like following with the crew. Sometimes it's not the best for you. It might be secure and you have buddies to hang out with, but damn it, you might need to write your own story.
Yeah, not everything is meant for everyone. Not everything is meant for everyone. And yeah, princes and king. Every prince got to learn from somewhere, but eventually a king will have to lead on his own. I mean, kings do have his individuals in his court to help assist them from time to time. But
yes,
a king have to make the ultimate decision. And like they said, it's lonely at the top. So you can't expect everyone to be on your journey, regardless if they helped you to get there, which is sad, but it's the truth, and heavy's the head that wears the crown. I have a lot of hair, so my crown would be kind of comfortable right now.
Am I allowed to compliment your lid? I have to compliment it.
Yeah, I gotta
say something.
Off.
I mean, I would give my right arm to have that.
Yeah, just that's my fro. Yeah, let the fro go. Just let the fro go.
Yeah, just keep rubbing it in. Thank you. Yeah, keep moving. You're the worst. And I'm bald. So you had to bring it up.
Sharp, bro. You look sharp. You look better than me, and I'm the host, but you're the co-host. So yeah, you look sharp. You look dasher, definitely.
All right, you recovered from that one. I'll give you a point. Hi, Victor. You're funny, man.
So let's go ahead and move it along. So I just want to play a brief game. Now the name of this game is called the Dash Stash. Now, essentially what this game is pretty much hypothetical scenarios where you just fill in the blank, okay? So, for instance, I'm just going to show you how this goes. So, the first question is, I lost my temper, but I found blank. In my case, I'll probably say, I lost my temper, but I found $1. And it don't have to be serious. It can be anything. And we're just going to time it, okay? So, for you, I lost my temper, but I found
impulse control.
Nice. If the world was on fire, I will grab blank and leave blank.
I guess I would grab my passport and I would, leave the country, get on a boat.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Great one. Quick on your feet, I see.
It's kind of like when Bill Gates was off of Bora Bora or something when it was Y2K or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay, so here's another one for you, okay? What's the purpose of blank if I can't have blank?
What's the purpose of living? What's the purpose of living if I'm not happy?
Okay, what's the purpose of living if I can't have happiness?
Happiness,
nice
yeah.
That's
pretty much.
Deep thinker. You're very deep thinker and quick with it. I love it. I can't stand when you say blank, but I love when you do it like blank.
I can't stand when you say, we gotta talk. But then I love it when you say, I got good news for you. That's the best.
I love it. All right, Richard. That was the end of the questions. That was the end of that segment.
It
was just,
Oh man, at least give me one more.
Okay, one more.
I like these.
I love you, blank, but I don't love blank, but I don't.
I love your smile, blank. But I don't. But I don't love your laugh.
Oh, that's harsh. God damn it. Hope you don't speak to your wife like that, buddy. No, bad joke.
I wasn't talking about my wife, of course. What do you think I'm talking about her? I'm talking about my best friend.
Yeah, there we go. Nice save. You definitely a quick thinker, quick on your feet.
I got to live another day.
Exactly. You know, they say happy wife, happy life. If you still able to
That's
keep
right.
it. But thank you, Richard. So that will be all for the Dash It Out show, buddy. I definitely appreciate you for coming on the show. Everyone, Richard Blank, all the information to the Costa Rica call center, Costa Rica's call center, will be listed
That's right.
in the description. All the information provided for Richard Blank and his businesses and everything. And also, of course, a Bington Senior High School. I will go ahead and list that information down in there because I know you also you're a firm supporter and donator. You know, I wouldn't say donator, but you give scholarships every so often for those who want
Every
to
year.
participate in communications. Yes,
Right.
and definitely that's interesting. That's
Second
inspiring.
language
So
scholarship, Victor.
your
Yeah.
second language scholarship, I love that for you, and that's definitely something that would be listed in the description. And I love the fact that you were able to share your knowledge with us today. And more importantly, I love the fact that you was able to give inspiration and hope for those who are still struggling and looking to find their way. So with that being said, thanks again, everyone. Richard Blink, my co-host, and this is the Dash It Out Show. That's it. That's all that we have for today.